Before we get started, I'm here to tell you about B-Res Coffee Co. Made for gamers, by gamers, right here in Florida. You like medium or light roast? Try our Necro Medium or Holy Grail Light. Looking for something dark? We have Critical Dark and my personal favorite, Stamina Boost. And I haven't even mentioned all the flavors. If you like freshly roasted coffee, then we are your guys. Come check us out at www.brescoffeeco.com. We are still waiting on our theme music from the awesome Miss Socks, who is a professional.
Oh
So
yeah, what's your theme music gonna sound like?
you'll have to wait and see with everyone else.
Oh, okay. Well, what were you going for?
Kind of medievally, like Renaissance Fair festival-y, but modern.
Hmm.
You.
You're weird. Anyway,
So insert theme music.
I'll do a theme song for you.
Go for it.
My name is Jester and I'm dumb. Badook. There you go.
That's my wife, everybody, and my wife and co-host.
Hey, hey, hey. Who says I'm a co-host? I'm just here. I'm not getting
Well,
paid for this.
I'm not getting paid for this. What are you talking about? Who's giving out paychecks?
You're Bob.
You're my mom,
No, I
certainly.
said your mom. Yeah, your mom. Anyway.
Lordy, lordy. Okay, so theme music is officially done. Hello, everyone. I am Jester. This is Jester's Court, and tonight we're talking about Mass Effect. Sadly, not that one with Shepard. We're talking about Andromeda. Jumping into a new galaxy and ending the franchise, at least for a long time. But is all that fair? Is the game complete trash? We're going to take a look. With me, as almost always, I have Momthulu.
And it's no secret that Momthulu really, really, really likes Mass Effect. It is probably my favorite game franchise out there, period, the end. And I say that, I mean, it's really between that Red Dead, and The Last of Us. But only The Last of Us 1, because I haven't finished The Last of Us 2 yet, but The
Did,
Last of Us 1 was amazing.
didn't I buy you that like a year ago?
Yeah, yeah, you did, and I haven't finished it yet because I'm at. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it, but I'm at a really, really hard fight that is similar to the David versus Ellie fight in the first one. And I'm pretty sure you watched me do the David versus Ellie fight in the first one, where we're in the like steakhouse and we're hiding and there's glass on the floor and eventually it's on fire. It's a nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare. But you have to do it like 2 or 3 times in the Last of Us 2. And I was like, eventually got so frustrated. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'll come back to this later. And I haven't gone
Well,
back
I was
to
gonna say
it.
we've all done that, but then eventually you do have to come back.
Yeah, well, I haven't gone back to it yet. It's not as good a story as the first one, but it is still a pretty good story, and I haven't finished it yet, so I know I'll eventually finish it out. But just saying, just saying.
I mean, I agree with you on Mass Effect. Uh, Red Dead, I like Red Dead, but favorites.
Listen, Red Dead 2 was like one of my. Okay, so Mass Effect. You watched me play Mass Effect 3. How many times did you look over and see me sobbing my face off? Um,
She's
so
lying.
Mass Effect
She's
does
lying.
that
She
to
was
me.
laughing, and
No, Mass Effect 3, I mean, Mass Effect 2 I cry a little bit during, but Mass Effect 3, I mean, almost from the beginning I'm crying. Um oh god. Oh man, I romanced the Drell. His name is Thane in the second one, the second playthrough. Um and then I went back to 3 and I played 3 when it came out remastered. What was it, like 2 or 3 times?
yeah,
It
it was
was a
set.
it
We
was a sick amount of times.
so here's what's funny, guys. We both bought each other this game without
Yeah,
realizing
that's
we
what's so
bought each other
funny.
this game. I bought her a PlayStation version, not knowing that she had bought me an Xbox version. So
Yeah, what is it? They arrived within days of one another too, didn't they?
yeah, well, no. Mine came, and I was like, yours is on the way.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was like, funny story. I bought one of these for you too.
Yeah. So I played through Mass Effect. I only played through Mass Effect 1 once because the Mako just ruins it for me, but it's still a great story. But there's nothing I want to go back there and like redo. But Mass Effect 2, you can like go back and redo it, and you can get so many different outcomes with the relationships and stuff that like it's the bomb. Um, it's probably the best one out of all three of them is Mass Effect 2, and then there's Mass Effect 3. Anyway, I romanced Thane in Mass Effect 2 during one of my playthroughs this last time because I couldn't remember if I had done it before, and I swear to God, like he dies. Everybody knows he dies.
I was gonna say,
Um,
yeah, you pick someone who is not even a choice in the
yeah,
story. He's just dying.
no, he is a choice in this. Well, anyway,
It's not
he
a choice for
dies.
him to live or die. He's just gonna
Right.
die.
We all know that he had Capral syndrome and he was really sick in the second one, so it's coming to that he's gonna die. And you get to the third one, and even if you don't pick Thane, like if you're like Thane, I love you, but I need to be with Caden or Garrus or Bleh or like if even if you don't pick Thane number 3, he still tells you how much he loves you and how much you've like enriched his life and stuff like that. And then he dies. But the really fucked thing is like later on when you get to that little apartment thing, his son, you like hold this little memorial for him there, and his son brings you like vlogs that he left you, right? And I mean, I'm over there. I was so glad that you were at work. You would have laughed so hard. I cried like I was losing somebody in my family. I was over there like straight ugly sobbing through the whole thing. Oh my god. Thane is like my absolute favorite. I mean, that's a hard thing to say over Garrus because like Garrus is my boo, but anyway, we're not talking about these Mass Effects, but I'm just saying that this story, Mass Effect, is so important to me. It is so important to me. It's like shaped, it's one of my favorite fandoms. It's shaped like God, it was just one of those games that just shaped my whole entire, like I wasn't that big of a nerd, and then like, oh my god, here's Mass Effect, and like I know so much about it. I've read some of the comics, like I've read so many fan fictions about Mass Effect. I've written a couple.
Have you now? Now I knew you did Dragon Age fanfic. I
Oh
have
yeah,
never seen Mass Effect fanfic.
because it's so sad at the end, so it's hard to write it without just being like weepy. But I do have a Mass Effect fanfic out there. I'm not going to tell anybody what my username is, so nobody can go and look it up. Because let's be real, if fan fiction can be kind of embarrassing, but Dragon Age is good too. But I'm sorry, Mass Effect takes the taco.
So, guys, Patreon exclusive, tier 2 or 3, and I will find that username and give it to you.
No, no, that's not a thing. That's not happening.
Trust me, guys.
No, it's not happening. Sorry. There's
Sign
no
up.
way he's gonna find it, so it's just all there is.
That is
Anyway.
patreon.com/the Jester's Court.
It's Patreon, thank you.
But you're a patron. How would you say Patreon? The whole point is you're a patron to this person.
Right, but you're talking about the website, which is Patreon. So whatever.
But
You
why would you pronounce it
frequently
that way?
That's the way it's pronounced.
I disagree. I've heard it both
Listen,
ways.
anyway, onward.
Okay, so Mass Effect Andromeda. Um, no one's going to argue. The game certainly has issues, and you couldn't say otherwise with a straight face. I would say, though, in their defense, most of the issues are a direct result of the rush job done by BioWare at the direction of EA. Surprise, surprise, EA is the bastard in this.
Yeah.
They prove once again there isn't a successful franchise they can't ruin. We won't talk about the Star Wars games that they butchered.
Oh my god.
So, crunch timeline, and money led to a very shortened list of planets to explore. And to talk about that a little bit, you know that the original intent of this game was to have procedurally generated planets like you have in like No Man's Sky. So like you would have the core planets that are part of your mission, which is what ended up in the game. But in addition to that, you would have all these extra planets that were procedurally generated, which means every time you play the game, every different person who plays the game, they're completely different. That got dropped to the wayside. It also led to some very unfortunate graphics when it comes to up close and personal with characters. Um,
Well, really? Do you think so?
okay, we're getting a little off of what I was going to say in order, but have you seen the close-ups of the Turians?
Yeah.
Their faceplate is not attached to the rest of their face. It's tragic.
I think that you're talking about the female Turians. The female Turians have a completely different facial structure than the male Turians.
I think you need to look closely at them again. But if you let me finish my thought,
Yeah, go ahead.
when you back up, it's a gorgeous game from a distance.
Oh god, yes it is.
The new ship is sexy as hell, the Tempest. I mean, tell me it's not. That is a beautiful ship. And yes, the Turians look is travesty. Sorry, it is.
Well, okay, listen. They're like bug cat people, okay? So how are you supposed to make that any more beautiful than what it was? The good thing is that they didn't change the look of them. They didn't change the look of them, and I kind of think I know what you're getting at when you say that their faceplate doesn't look like it's attached. But that's the way that they are. If you go back and you play Mass Effect 3, which I think that you're playing right now, if you look at the original versions of Mass Effect 3, like of Garrus or even some of the other Turians, you know, it's not really... It looks almost the same. It is because of the way that their facial structures were done. They did not change their facial structure. The, oh god. What's the name of the blue ladies? I forgot. It's like left me.
Asarian.
The
Asari.
what?
Asari.
The Asari. There you go. Sorry about that. The Asari, on the other hand, the only Asari in the whole freaking game that looks different is PB. Okay? That is annoying as hell. I mean, come on. If you play the first 3, every single Asari is almost different. They all have different facial structures. You know, they're very unique as a race, like with their shapes, their colors, you know, things like that. But you play this game and every single freaking Asari is dark blue, except for Polaria Basail.
I forgot that was what PB stood for. So kudos on you, because I would never remember
It's actually I said it wrong. It's Pelisaria Basail, but, you know,
it's
whatever.
PB. It's PB.
It's PB. Right. And
yeah,
everybody spells it P-E-E-B-E-E, like that's what it's spelled like, but literally it stands for her initials, P period B period.
Yeah, but I think even the game spells it out P-E-E, does it not?
Yeah, you're right, it does.
So, you want to look at some of the core mechanics of the game?
Yeah, let's talk about the core mechanics of the game.
Since that's where most of the gripe comes from here.
But see, this is what I don't understand, because I thought the core mechanics of the game were actually superior to like the Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. And had they included that kind of stuff in the first, like the original trilogy, it would have been a far more enjoyable game. Already a really freaking enjoyable game, but like you're kind of boxed in on the first 3, and Andromeda really opened that up for you.
And there's some plus and minus involved with that. Well, you know what? We'll do graphics first, because that actually will encompass that. We're going to talk about what caused that, the issues, and the things you're talking about that were better. So, you know, like we discussed in the intro, there are issues with graphics, but as I said, from a distance, it's a gorgeous game. It's beautiful work done while traveling between worlds. The worlds are much more open, planet side. Downside, close up, as I said, it's just a mess. And this also, you know, surprise, surprise, goes down to EA, because at the time they were insisting that everyone use their Frostbite engine.
Mm-hmm.
So the large open world planets that look so good from far away, it turns out they're mostly empty because Frostbite doesn't do open world well.
It doesn't do open world that well. And I'll be honest, like the rendering time on Andromeda sometimes is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
That's Frostbite. That's where you get the awkward animations like you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the Turian tragedy, which I think is an animation issue. When they're talking, the faceplate comes off their mask or their face.
Okay.
So graphically, it's, you know, it's back and forth, but One thing that Frostbite did well, I will give him credit for, is it does vehicles very well, which is why the Rover is not a pain in the ass to drive like it was in Mass Effect 1.
It was so bad at number one. And this one's not actually called the Mako, is it?
No,
I
something
don't think
else.
so.
It was
Something
something
else.
else. Matter of
But
fact, because they
much
reference the
better.
Makos, they're like,
Yeah, they
they make fun
they
of it.
talk shit about it. Yeah. Yeah. So I can't really agree with like it looking terrible up close because Andromeda actually is a really freaking pretty game. It really is, but it's for me it's like the rendering and stuff like that. Like
That's part of it, but
sometimes
and it's very vibrant even up close. Like, and I think that's what you're picking up on.
yes,
It's like crystal clear. It's very vibrant with the colors, and
you
I
are
think
right. It is very vibrant.
and I think that's what you're picking up on. I just can't. And it's the animations. As we're talking about it, that's what makes the faceplate on the Turians look like it's detached. It's when they're talking and the animations are horrible.
Okay.
So, thanks EA for Frostbite for everyone.
I enjoy the fact that they really took off with the female Turians because there was one female Turian that you even saw in the entire Mass Effect trilogy. So like in Andromeda there are a bunch of them, and that's really important and I really like that.
Yeah, once by Boo. My last playthrough, she was my girl.
Oh, you're talking about Vetra?
Yes, she was my romance.
Really?
Yeah,
You slept with the bug lady.
you slept with a bug boy who talked about
Yeah,
his spined
but
penis.
it's Garrus. It's Garrus. I love him.
So
I'm trying to Google right now just so I can try to see what you're talking about.
I meant to get a picture and I didn't. So that's bad hosting on my part.
Just trying to see if anybody had a screen grab. I see what you're talking about. And it's mostly on the women, isn't it?
I can't remember that specific if it was or not. I just remember seeing it and putting that in my notes that, oh my god.
Yeah. But I think the reason why isn't because of like a rendering thing. They really do have a drastically different facial structure than the male Turians and that we're so used to seeing like in the first three. But that's neither here nor there. It really does have some graphic challenges with Andromeda. So, I mean, I'm behind that 100% as, that's a valid gripe. EA really did a number. It really did a number. We were
It's
all
the
so
worst.
jazzed.
It's the worst.
We were all so jazzed for it coming out because I mean, oh God, my God, it had been so long since Mass Effect, and they made mention that we're making another one, and I was like, everybody was so excited because they were like, oh my God, how are they going to do this without Shepard? Oh my God, and then they gave us Andromeda, and it was just like, it was great, but at the same time, you were like, this is garbage, like you didn't know whether to love it or hate it.
Speaking of which, combat. And this is an area in which I don't have near as many complaints. Matter of fact, very nitpicky stuff, I would say. Overall, combat is amazing in this game. It does suffer from RPG Big Sister theory, which is every sequel it gets a little easier to play so they can get more people involved.
That's true.
But jump jets, freaking awesome. That was a great
Oh,
was
God.
a great ad. I love the jump jets. I miss them when I played the original trilogy now.
Right, I know, and you're like playing it, and you're like, just jump, Shepard, just jump, like you're like you can scoot over that barrier, but can you jump over it? It's a real drag when you play Andromeda and you go back and you play the others, and you're like, I just miss my jump jets.
It takes a 3 before you can even jump over stuff.
It's true, and you don't even jump over it; you like scoot over it, like.
I do severely miss the ability to pause tactically and assign targets and attacks from your people.
Yeah, I see it, but I never did that. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I did it in Dragon Age, but I never did it in Mass Effect.
That is, by the way, another downside of Frostbite, which is why they didn't put it in Mass Effect at all, and why it's so weird in Dragon Age Inquisition, which also had Frostbite.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because
it did really.
It's because it's another thing that Frostbite does not do super well.
The tactical, because like
the pausing the screen like that, yeah.
Yeah, like they brought that tactical combat engine in, and they introduced that in Mass Effect 2, right? I'm sorry, not Mass Effect.
Dragon Age up until
Dragon Age.
Inquisition used the old engine, and you could do just like you did in the first Mass Effect game, where you just pause the action, switch between your characters, and say you do this, you do this, you do this.
I see.
Inquisition went to a top down thing where you could still do that stuff, but it was really awkward, and that was them cramming it into the Frostbite. But I don't want to digress because
Yeah.
combat. I don't have a lot of complaints about combat. It flows really well, and it's fun. It's fun. I have fun doing the combat in this game.
I do. I'm reading your script here, and you're talking about the random placement of ammo during during it. And I mean, if people are really complaining about the random placement of ammo and like things like that, why would they not complain about that in the original Mass Effects? Because the original
No,
Mass
I
Effects,
put that in because it's just funny. In the original Mass Effects, at least it's that galaxy where they came from. Everything uses those ammo. But now you're in a new galaxy.
absolutely
Very
do,
few
yeah.
people from your galaxy there. And magically, there's ammo that works in your
It works.
guns. Just
Okay,
laying around.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm just gonna load this random hardware into my gun, and it's gonna work. Yay! No,
Plus,
I get that.
plus timeline-wise, they should have the overheating weapons from Mass Effect 1.
You think so?
Yes, because this happened before they did that whole change in 2.
Hmm.
They left that galaxy, so they should have the guns from Mass Effect 1 that would overheat, but had infinite ammo.
I can't. I'm a little muddy on the timeline there. Was it really? Did they really leave before Mass Effect 2 happened? I
Yeah,
thought the whole. Oh, you're right, because they weren't running from the Reapers, and they really didn't have any idea what it was. You have to find that out in
yeah.
the
So they
game,
left either after Mass Effect 1 or before Mass Effect 1. I think it was after Mass
right?
Effect 1.
Right, because there's like a little bit of mention of Shepard on there, and actually there's a couple of recordings from Garrus too. And I think he's left recordings for Vetra. I don't know if you found those yet when you unlock some of the memories in Sam Node.
I
But
tragically was not good about going back to Sam Node. I'm just
yeah,
gonna be
not a lot of
honest.
people are. Not a lot of people. Sam is a little weird, so
But wonderfully satisfying fighting. I'm sorry, it is. And
it is. It's so good.
my last little quirk, because again, combat I loved, but my last little quirk is I prefer the old RPG classes over the thing they did with the profiles.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So yeah, and well, but see, they explained that all in Mass Effect Andromeda. They explained it that it was something that Ryder's father invented, so
Yeah,
that way he could
no,
switch
no,
easily between.
I get it, but it to me it just it doesn't limit. The whole point is it opens it up and it makes it where you don't have to pick and choose your people because it doesn't matter. You can do everything.
Exactly, but it kind of defeats the purpose in the end because how many times do you go in there and you change your profile? I'm just being honest. How many times have you done it?
Never.
Yeah, me neither. I pick one and then I stick with it because I'm like, I forget that you can change it.
Well, and it wasn't
So
super convenient to do so in the middle.
no, it really
Now,
wasn't.
if they had an audio component like Ryder's dad did, where I could just speak and the game would hear me, and
Oh,
be
that would have
like,
been freaking amazing.
Switch to tech now, boom. That would have been
Yes,
awesome.
yes, yes. I agree. It was that profile thing. I'll give you that. It was a little bit weird.
And it goes down to I can't get too mad about it because it goes down to like I said the RPGs as you go on. You see it with every series. Fable. Every Fable game got a little easier to play and a little less control as you went on. And
Right.
it's how RPGs. Fallout's the same way. You play Fallout like the first two is nothing compared to the third and New Vegas, and fourth is even easier. Like they want to get more people involved, so they dumb down the game mechanics.
Yeah.
It's just what they do because it's all about the money. The
That is
moolah.
the thing. Well, enough about combat. Let's talk about, the actual storyline.
This is where most people
This is
story
where
and
it gets
history.
bad.
This is where the
Yeah.
wheels fall off for a lot of people, and I like the story, and I like the story even though the Kett are just collectors in a new suit, and you have remnant Protheans.
But they weren't remnant Protheans.
They were their people. The remnant were built by people before that aren't around anymore.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you were talking about they were Protheans, and I was like, no, they're not.
No,
But
no, they were. You have the Ket who are the collectors. You have the Remnant, and the people who built them are the Protheans. But it's an
right.
interesting story. And in the case of the infighting and politics on the Nexus, that's just right, spot
So
on, realistic.
realistic. Oh my
Don't
god.
don't even talk to me about that stuff because with the setbacks and disasters that happen
Yes.
in real life, we humans would be like definitely fall into infighting and inaction, and that is 100% accurate. And I will not hear you say anything otherwise because
No,
that is
you can't. And they make it so easy for you to hate though, like Director Tan, who is just kind of, you find out that he's just kind of fallen into that place, and it almost makes you think that he, those people that were going to be before him died mysteriously, and it makes you think that Tan did it. But like literally he is bloodthirsty and he isn't the ultimate politician. And it just makes it so easy to hate him. It is, the infighting is just spot on fantastic.
because that's how it would play out. That's
It
totally
is.
how it would play out.
It is.
Especially with Tan in charge, you would definitely have people
Oh
going.
god.
He was. Oh my god, he was
He's
bad.
he's a dick, yeah.
Incompetent but unaware, which is just
Yeah.
a lovely, horrible combination.
Right, and then like just mistrustful, like he's mistrustful and he thinks you're being cocky, but he's so cocky and to be, oh god, it's just so easy to hate Tan.
I love
They
doing
did a great job.
I love doing the dialogue options where you stick it to him, where he's like, "I give you permission to do
Yes.
this." Like I didn't ask.
Yeah, I didn't ask you. Exactly. Just because you hate him so much, you're like, then, because that's how you're feeling. You're like, Ryder's going to say something snarky. So,
The Tan
yeah.
every time. Doesn't matter what kind of character I'm playing. Every time with Tan, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And the other half of that with story is the history, and
Ugh.
the game is lacking history. And I
Yeah.
imagine I don't have this on any kind of proven grounds, but I imagine it's the same problem you had with the graphics and stuff we were talking about, where it was a rush job. Because the game's it's lacking. You have the original series with the Milky
Right.
Way just jam packed with hundreds of species and cultures, and
Right.
you get to Andromeda and there's two.
There's two.
Maybe
And
if
you're
you want to
like-
count the Remnant as a species or culture, then you could say 3. But that's it.
And you're jumping systems, like you're jumping through systems, and it's just the Ket. It's just, well, and the Ket aren't even there as like, they were there. They're not
No,
even there as,
that's
they're
what
an
I was about
alien
to say.
species.
I was about to say that they're like us. They're not even from that galaxy. So
No.
really, it's just. Oh my god! I just blanked on the weird guy's species.
You're talking about Jaal?
Yeah, Jaal. But what is his
Oh
species
god,
called?
what is his species called? Jaal was a...
I can't believe I just blanked on that. I want to say Andorian, but that's Star Trek.
No, it's something. He's Angaran. There you go.
Angaran. So they are technically the only natives to this galaxy.
Well, and then, you find out later that they're not even natives. Like, they are a created race, but where the hell are their creators? Like, there's so much missing there. They left it on this, like, huge cliffhanger, and you're just like, what's going on? Because then they did nothing. They did nothing until there was this teaser for the new Mass Effect. I mean, my God, how long has it been? When was Andromeda released?
It's been like 10, 15 years. It's been like 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's really, problems aside with the story, most of the problems to me is because this was set up as a opening.
It was supposed to be like,
there was supposed to be more to it. There were supposed to be things you didn't know what happened. You didn't even find all the arcs.
No, that's true. Like, you're missing the Solarian arc. What else are we missing? We're missing the one with the Hanar, the Elcor, the Volus. There wasn't a whole arc full of them. You're missing. I mean, like, you didn't even find all the Turian arc. Like.
And you barely scratched the surface building colonies and stuff. They were basically just camps on the ground. So, to me, there was an opportunity to do something really cool, and because of because
they missed the mark.
They missed the mark, yes, but also people could have just chilled out and bought the fucking game.
Right,
I'm sorry,
right.
Because it was still extremely enjoyable, and that's where we're closing in on this.
It's true.
The verdict is, surprise, surprise, because I'm talking about it, I liked it. The verdict is, I think it's still an enjoyable game.
that's the thing, though, is that people get so wrapped up in like the original, the original story. It was the same with like Star Wars, and we talked about that in the first 3 episodes of this. Like when we came to the last trilogy, which was the least enjoyable trilogy of the Star Wars franchise. Like everybody gets so wrapped up in their story and their own ideas of how a story should go, and they forget that a story is not there for you. A story is there for the person who wrote it, and you're just there to enjoy the ride.
I also want to remind you that I think that the prequels were the worst of the Star Wars trilogies.
I would agree with you there. Like anytime that you want to rewatch,
you just called these
the
worst of the 3.
Well, it's just because it's a mixed bag. Let's be real, it's a mixed bag. But I really enjoyed all the Star Wars except for the first one. I won't even rewatch it ever again.
There's no reason to. The proper order to watch the prequel and the original trilogy is episode 4, episode 5, episode 2, episode 3, episode 6. No need to watch episode 1 at all unless you want to just watch the very end when you get to see Darth Maul get slashed in half.
And they did him so dirty. Darth Maul was amazing. He was an amazing character. They brought him back in the cartoon.
They brought him back in the cartoons.
Anyway, it's the same with every fandom, and we're going to say that about 150,000 times as we go through this entire series of yours with your Jesters Court. Even on the episodes I'm not going to be around, a story is not there for the person who is reading it. It's there for the person who wrote it, and you're just there to enjoy it in the end. And that's the truth about it. A game can be different and not be garbage, like there can be complaints about it without it being absolute trash.
It could be not perfect and not be garbage, and that's
exactly
that's my heart and soul with Andromeda. It's not perfect.
It's not perfect.
It's not perfect at all. But is it fun to play? Yes.
It is. It's a little long though, let's be honest. Like the actual story is like really condensed, and like if you just play like through it, you can get through it in like a day and a half. But it's not you like to do it right, you need to like do other things, and that's where it gets kind of boring. Like you kind of do that and see that in number 2 of Mass Effect and number 3 of Mass Effect, where you're like trying to find the resources. Actually, they didn't do the scanner in Mass Effect 3 because there's too much junk going on. And it wasn't quite the same. Like you park on a planet and then like you might hear dogs growling in the background, sorry. Where you like park on a planet and then do like the scanning thing. This one was like you were in the galaxy and you scanned. Hold on a second. Dogs are getting a little restless back here. But anyway, Andromeda was unique to that in that the map was huge. Like yeah, there were a lot of galaxies in the original Mass Effect trilogy, but Andromeda's galaxies are massive. Like there's so much to them, but it's really boring to do like this, like go up and discover every stinking planet. I just usually
that's something that's carried over from all 3.
Yeah.
It was always a chore, even in the first one. It was always a chore. First one was worse because you had to land on most of them and drive around in the freaking rover
it and hope that you didn't get stuck in a crevice or something because you were
then after 15 minutes of driving around to find this thing, you find out that it's over your skill level, and God help me, I never remembered to go back.
Right. And some of those there was like some really cool like side missions and stuff, and you like missed it. But Andromeda was I really wish they would have finished it. I really do. And I'm hearing rumors, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm hearing rumors that they actually have a way to tie in the first trilogy and Andromeda with this new Mass Effect 4. Because if you I'm one of those people that have watched the trailer so many times it hurts, and it's an embarrassing amount of time to admit to the internet. But like if you go back and you watch it and you watch it and you watch it like I have, you realize that you're looking at Liara and she's aged. She was only like 160 whenever you were playing in the first 3, right? Which seems like a really long time, but Asari lived for
for Asari, she was essentially a like late teens, early 20s.
Exactly. She was like, everybody gives me hell because I'm so young, and she's like 160 years old, and you're like, that's not young. But to Asari, it is. And so, like, you're looking at it and you realize that Liara is approaching her matriarch here. So it's been a really long time between the passing of the first trilogy and what's going on. And there's a lot of talk about how they're going to mesh them together. And I'm really interested to see if that's going to play out because
I would love that.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm so ready. Like, come on, I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
I would rather that than them try to create a whole new because the Reapers are gone. So
right.
So to do it in the Shepherd Galaxy, you would have to create a whole new bad guy, a whole new thing going on. I would rather them tie in that galaxy with Andromeda and continue the Andromeda story through that lens. That would be so much cooler.
You're absolutely right. But, you know, if they do it that way, a lot of people are going to gripe because I don't remember how long Turians live, but I know they don't live as long as the Saris. So we're going to miss a lot of, if they do it like that, there's going to be a lot of the characters that everybody loved on Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 that are going to be gone. Garrus will possibly be dead. Too. Yeah, Talizora is gonna be dead. There's gonna just be a lot. So.
Well, and you're also assuming that the scenes with her as a matriarch are where the timeline of the game is gonna be.
It
might be a flash forward. It might be like she's telling a story as the matriarch, but you go back. We don't know. We do know that the Mass Effect fields are destroyed because that was one of the things is that they were destroyed in Mass Effect 3. So and it depends on which ending that you get. I was gonna say it depends on which ending, and if they're doing a new series, they're gonna end up picking one that's canon.
Right, and that's what I'm wondering, like which one was canonical? Which one do you think was canonical? If we have any of the viewers listening, which one do you viewers think was canonical? Was it the Shepard became the catalyst and then controlled all the Reapers? Was it Shepard's merged the synths together, the synth and synthetic and organic life, and everybody's kind of a mix of both now? Or was it she just destroyed the Reapers and all the Mass Effect fields are broken and she dead? What do you think?
I never did that first one. I always did synthesis or kill them all.
Yeah, so if you play the Paragon all the way through, I'm pretty sure you can choose it only if you're like 100% Paragon, which we all know that's my preferred method of anything. I have such a hard time being a bad guy. You can choose that, and what happens is Shepard runs into the light, and she becomes the catalyst. Like, she takes over the catalyst. Her personality, her memories, everything are still there. I don't like it because she's... I say it as she because for Shepard is for me always a girl. She just becomes like so cold. Like she becomes like so cold, and she's like, I know I loved the people that I was with, but this is for the good. And basically she controls all the Reapers. She helps them build the Mass Effect relays all over again. It's a whole thing.
If I had to guess, out of the three, that is they would not pick as canon. No, I would guess that would be the one they picked as canon.
I actually think that the one that is canon is Shepard jumps in and destroys all the Reapers, and the Mass Effect fields are broken, and that's why it's taken so long for anybody to get around.
That's the one I more often pick, because usually, from a roleplay standpoint, by the time I get through Mass Effect 3, my Shepard has gone from Mass Effect 1, total Paragon, to I'm fed up with all this bullshit, and no, I'm not going to work with the Reapers. No, we're not. No, I said I was killing the Reapers, and I don't care who dies in the process. We're killing the Reapers.
Right, we're getting rid of them fuckers. Exactly.
That's usually the ending I pick.
I totally agree. And that's the one I think is canon.
But so yeah, long story short, we enjoyed this.
I enjoyed it. It's a good game. It really is a good game. And
you should go out and buy it now just to prove them all wrong.
Exactly. And there was an article like right after the Mass Effect Remastered trilogy came out. There was a whole article about how a lot of people who had really dogged it the first time, Andromeda, went out and replayed it and were saying, "No, I see now why it needed to be different." And they had basically the same complaints as us, but there was a good number of people who were just like, "Oh, this is garbage," who got back into it after the remastered trilogy came out. And that makes my heart happy because it really was a solid game. The gameplay was great. The story was good. It was solid. It did not deserve the toxicity that was thrown at it. That's what I'm saying. No,
not when you have games that I won't mention that are successful and are garbage.
Absolutely. Well,
most of those games are shooters, but maybe I may be able to buy it.
Oh God. We can go ahead now and we can drag EA now that we're all the way through the episode.
I can drag. How terrible if that wasn't against what this whole thing is about, I could spend an entire 45 minutes just talking trash
just
about
dragging EA. Come on now. Like they had so much potential with some of those. You're right, with some of those Star Wars games. Like, okay, let's talk about The Last Jedi. That game's freaking hard, but the story is great. The story is so good. It's so good, but it's a weird game. But then there's also like Star Wars Battlefront.
Battlefront is the biggest thing they killed. I love the Xbox version, the original Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
that was an amazing game to play. I could never get into the new console. Well, it's not the new consoles anymore, but the Xbox One generation console games with it.
Yeah,
I couldn't get into it. But
I hated that they made it a battle royale. Like I'm sorry. This is me ranting about battle royale games, and it's something that if we ever get into that kind of thing, I will talk about frequently. I cannot do battle royale games. They make me want to throw the controller that I'm holding into the garbage and never touch a console again, just because they're so terrible. You spawn in and then somebody shoots you and you're dead within 3 seconds, and I'm just like, rage, gamer words, rage. Like
that's me. I PvP shooter games. I'm
it's terrible. But I'm sorry. EA has done some amazing games. There's some amazing stuff that they've gotten behind, but then they are notorious for ruining amazing games. And you're just like, come on, like stop. Just give the developers the creative reign that they deserve so they can make the thing amazing and stop getting in the way of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, because this was one of the first financial flops BioWare had in a long time.
I know.
Because you have BioWare started with Knights of the Old Republic, then Dragon Age, and the Mass Effect original trilogy. They were rock stars. Yeah. And then it's like this.
Well, and I mean, if you remember correctly, they had to merge with EA because they were actually having financial issues. But like the way that they did Andromeda, which was everybody put it such a big thing into, the way they did Andromeda dirty like that, it really did almost take BioWare off.
And I'm not going to bog you down because we're coming down to the end here. But when I was researching this, I only touched on a few of the things that EA really screwed up. Look into it, Google it, because EA, I mean, it was all kinds of just screwed up, messed up stuff.
Yep.
But some housekeeping stuff. We are not going to be on next week because Good for Gaming is doing their first of the quarter What Up on Cancer.
Yeah, What Up on Cancer. Halloween streaming.
Halloween stream, and I'll be part of that. But the following Sunday, November 6th, we'll be on talking about Superman Returns with the awesome King Kong Rom.
Yeah, and Momthulu will be taking a break.
Momthulu will be taking a break. Don't worry, she'll be back. There's at least one more episode in the works that she is going to be a part of that she basically pitched to me, which is going to be female characters in gaming, and specifically Aloy.
You were right the first time. Specifically Aloy. Basically, we're talking about the way that female gaming characters have been portrayed, and the gripes about them whenever they're done in a way that actually would be like realistic. Instead of like molded like booby armor and shit like that, we're talking about like you just gonna have to tune in. There's so much. Yes, and if I remember correctly, Nephamel is gonna join us for that.
She is, because when the episode became about broader than just the game and about women represented in games, I thought who better than Nephemil, because that is her bag.
Yes, she's got amazing opinions, and she's an amazing person to have in your corner whenever you're talking about that. She's all about ladies' rights, being recognized as a woman gamer, like, because let's be honest, women gamers have gotten a lot of, like a bad rap. So,
oh my god, we'll talk. We'll discuss this in that episode, but it's gotten a little bit better, but not much.
So we're gonna have Nephemel on that episode, which I'm really excited about because I like talking to Nephemel. She's got some amazing points, so I'm really jazzed for that. And also, I'm just really jazzed to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn, especially since Horizon the Forbidden West, I believe that's what it's called. It's either the Forbidden West or something like that, is going to be coming out eventually. So
here
like,
soon.
I'm really
it's in production. I know.
I'm like, yeah, they have like a whole trailer and everything. If you haven't watched that and you're big about Horizon Zero Dawn, you should, because it was top notch. I did not play that game until recently, and it quickly shot up into like my top 10 games. Love it so much. So really excited for that. But yeah, I won't be here for a few weeks, and that's okay because
because I don't pay her.
Yeah, I don't. Not a good person to bring on about the Superman thing, because we all know that Superman was like my favorite superhero, and then I think that they've screwed him up ever since the Christopher Reeve movies. But he's also kind of a whiny brat, so I it's a mixed bag, and I'm not really a good representation of Superman.
Which is why you won't be on.
Exactly.
You'll probably be in chat goading me.
It's probably true, or I'll be reminding you that Henry Cavill is hot. So,
well, we're not going to be talking about him. We're talking about Superman Returns.
I know, but
Brandon Roth, baby, Brandon Roth.
Oh my god, it was like they cloned Christopher Reeve. He did amazing. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Tune in for the next episode, because that is going to be discussed. That exact thought, because I said it from the beginning. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, coming out with us, and look for this to hit Patreon sometime tonight or in the morning. And we'll see you next time.
Peace out.